Good morning, it's your boy Terrell. Gonna get out in about a few. But more Trump stuff, guys, is crazy. The hits keeps coming so fast and furious that it's hard to keep up with it. I guess he recently, as we all know, he recently made a comment about shithole countries as a way to denigrate Africa, parts of South America, countries that are, for the most part, brown and black. They lie in the South, and said he's, really furthering what they call the North-South divide. Um, as far as the planet is concerned, the southern south of the equator tend to be the poorer countries. North of the equator tend to be the whiter and richer countries. North-south divide. Just to bring you up to speed, Donald Trump, made the shit old comment recently. Rap mogul, media mogul Jay-Z, he did an interview. He's talking about, his thoughts, his take on Donald Trump's shithole comment. And I saw the interview, and if you haven't get a chance, check it out. I'll give you my kind of synopsis, what I thought of his interview. I think he was very tame. Jay-Z was talking about, you know, allowing bugs to grow, meaning this thing, Donald Trump, this kind of this kind of movement of ugliness that Trump has captured. Racism, white supremacy, evil. This whole putting it, sort of out there. This thing of hurting people and that sort of thing that Trump represents, and his supporters, they love it and they eat it up. And Jay-Z talked about, not nipping things in the bud, and how things, kind of slowly progress toward what we have as Donald Trump. So Donald Trump hears it, he responds. His Twitter fingers got to going. King Twitter, he got up and going. So he responds with, Jay-Z, black unemployment is at an all-time low, you know. And he did this to sort of kind of do a little jab at, I don't know, not necessarily Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a billionaire mogul. I mean, black unemployment is not a thing that really drives him. He hires black folks, he hires white folks, whatever. He's all about the business of making money. He's actually a billionaire that worked his way up from nothing to something, which I can see why Trump would be kind of jealous and envious of that. But he really stayed on the statement of black unemployment being at an all-time low. It's interesting. He didn't really say that black employment, so it's kind of a Jedi mind trick game, that black employment was at an all-time high, because that's something you cannot prove. I mean, you look at labor statistics, you can achieve an unemployment level going downward if more people leave the labor pool. So how do you get people to leave the labor pool? I mean, mass incarceration, it's a big thing. When you're measuring black employment, black unemployment, mass incarceration is big. Employment discrimination, people giving up on the labor pool can drive a number down. Or, there are jobs, to be had. People are getting hired, and that's the Obama administration of bringing that number down, coupled with a lot of other factors. But, Donald Trump comes out there and says, oh, black unemployment is low because of him. And it's still twice the national average, which he really, didn't really want to hit on that based on discrimination. And, which leads back to white supremacy and the movement that he's all about. So it's interesting. And I saw, extra little take on it. Jay-Z just kind of just questioned him and really psychoanalyzed him and really showed care for him, said the man may have been hurt. But we have at the opposite end of the spectrum, Eminem. I mean, Eminem's going in on him all the fucking time. He's throwing rap ciphers, going in on Trump, concerts overseas. He's saying fuck Trump and fuck America unless it gets its act together. This is Eminem. But Donald Trump's Twitter fingers never get going on that. And, you can't look at Trump, the reaction he's getting and the different reactions. Like he reacts to Jay-Z, who's black, a different way he reacts to Eminem, who's white. This happens at a micro level. Trump is perhaps probably one of the greatest things that have happened to this country, because you take what he does at a macro level, and it's happened at a micro level where, whites will not go in on other whites. As a black person, I got a lot of Hispanic friends. This is to you. You've had white friends who are liberal, and you've had white friends who are conservative and pretty much racist, borderline racist. And they'll sit up and they'll argue all fucking day, back and forth, like just at each other's throats, right? But just like Jay-Z, you have half of the conversation. You say half of what your white liberal friend said, then it's World War III. They're ready to the conservatives ready to just go all off. I mean, it's the same double standard. It's the same thing at play at the macro and micro level. And it's very interesting to see how, his Twitter fingers get up for Jay-Z, and he shut the fuck up when it comes to Eminem because he knows that a lot of Eminem's audience, Macomb County, 8 Mile, which represents that Reagan Democrat, that kind of angry, Democrat who crossed over and voted for Reagan, the Republican, and, the phenomenon behind that of working class, angry whites who will cross over and vote against their economic interests. And Eminem, he comes from that. He's a great rapper. I love Eminem, but he's still a guest. I mean, hip hop, rap culture, black people started it. New York City, it started. So he's a guest. He's a good guest. Probably one of the best rappers, but he's a guest nevertheless. It'd be like me, trying to learn Irish folk dancing. I could be great at it. Great, but I'm a guest. It's for Irish people at the end of the day. So, I mean, Eminem's great, but you see the double standard there. You see how, the liberal whatever can attack and they can go at it all day, but then Jay-Z says half of it and he's using it as a chance to leverage up and get his people up and going against Jay-Z, against hip-hop, just like much like he does the football players who kneel. It's an interesting thing. You look at them both, but hey, I hope Eminem keeps going in on him, but you notice the silence, King Twitter finger, he's kind of mute. And it happens the same way when, a white liberal friend will go in at a white conservative, who you might know kind of on the margins. Oh, they shut the fuck up. It's something. It's amazing, but it's something to watch. Have a good one. I'm out. Got to get to work later.